Hi, thanks for joining us for this conversation around the phenomenal ebook Table for 10, which is 10 restaurant technologies collaborating to help you thrive in an era of uncertainty. Now, Kelly MacPherson joins us today. She's the former CIO of Burger King, Popeyes, Tim Hortons, and she's interviewed 10 top restaurant technology executives to gain insight and best practices for transforming your restaurant. My name is Zack Oates. I'll be your host today. I'm the founder and CEO of Ovation, an actionable guest feedback tool. And let me tell you guys a little bit about Kelly for those of you who don't know. First of all, Kelly, thanks for hopping on this interview.
Oh, Zach, thank you. And thank you for your support of the ebook. I can't wait to get in and talk about what I've learned through the experience, but it's been phenomenal.
Absolutely. So here's a little bit about Kelly. She's, as I said, the former CIO of Burger King, Popeyes, Tim Hortons. She has led technology for numerous companies such as Abercrombie and Fitch, Micros, Planet Hollywood, Hard Rock Cafe. She's been a global visionary with over 20 years of experience in the restaurant technology space. And so, with all of this incredible knowledge and experience, she reached out to her contacts and thought about restaurants in terms of the top 10 pieces, areas of technology that are needed to really run a successful restaurant. And she went out and she found people who can talk to those 10 areas. And so Kelly has interviewed people with employees and recruiting, shift labor management, routine management, security cameras and loss management, inventory order management, third party consolidation, online ordering, marketing, feedback, and data aggregation analytics. Kelly, that was a lot to explain, but you've put this all together in one ebook, and I would just love to hear what were your big takeaways.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks again, Zach. I think I think the interesting part was, for as long as I've been in this industry, just seeing the evolution and change for me was the biggest inspiring piece, right? And we're all going through a very difficult time. But I think what is coming out of this is a new mindset. And when you look at it, a new kind of way of thinking for restaurant technology and hearing these top thought leaders in the industry really talk about collaboration and working together to build a better connected experience for the restaurants really got me, excited and kind of jazzed about where the future was heading from a restaurant technology perspective. And so I think that was, one of the key themes that came out of the table for 10. I think the other real key theme was it really comes down to data, right? And how
Mm.
important it is to, data is only data, but if you can't really do something with it or really drive actions and again this collaboration coming together to make sure that operators have the right information at the right time to really drive their business and reduce some of the complexity that's there today because of some of the barriers with some of the way some of the legacy technologies are architected within the tech stack today. And so this breath of fresh air of kind of this different mindset I think is really going to help the industry thrive moving forward.
Now, why do you think in the past things have been a little less collaborative? Like, why have previous technology companies maintained a really siloed ecosystem?
I think it not as collaborative was simply the advancements in technology, right? I
Mm,
think cloud has really helped kind of uh, be the catalyst of being a much more open architecture and allow for easier integrations. And building integrations in the past just was definitely much more difficult. And I think we went through kind of a period of time where restaurant technology people tried to be everything, right? And I think
yeah.
what I also learned through this process is that you can have the best of everything and not have these really kind of cumbersome integrations tie you down. And so I think it came up in a couple different conversations about jack of all trades, master of none. And I think we're shifting to an environment where you can actually go out and get the best tool and people who are focused on that area to solve your problems for that specific, whether it be hiring or whether it be loss prevention, as opposed to somebody just getting, part way there, but giving you an easier platform because it's all in one. And so, I think that's one of the biggest differences.
And a technology system no longer, and as we call it, technology stack, right? The tech stack, it's not a car. right? Where you have to just buy it from one brand and get everything that it comes with it.
Mhm.
With technology, you're absolutely right. Because of the cloud, because things are so interchangeable and integrated now, it really does require us as vendors and companies to work together closer. Now, you kind of explained this wheel that is in the ebook that kind of starts at the top with recruiting, goes to shift and labor management, routine management, security and loss prevention, inventory, third party, online ordering, marketing, guest feedback, and they all go into data aggregation and analytics. And those are the 10 chapters of your ebook. Talk to me about, why do they all go to the middle?
Yeah, and I think it's important going into the middle is because of, everything we do is based off being data driven, right? And the power of the technologies that we have today give us insights that we might not have had before. And, I think, one of the kind of shifts, and hear a lot of it when we're talking with Andy at Extra Chef, is a lot of the processes in the restaurants have been so manual and such a big effort on focusing on gathering data, or writing things down, or transferring, or manual spreadsheets. And just the power of the tools that we have today really shift that dynamics of processing data to be able to analyze data. So really it's about taking that, not spending all the time gathering the information and trying to understand where all the different areas, whether it's labor, food costs, guest feedback, and trying to manually track everything. Like, the power of the technology does that for you. And the aggregation of this data is to really give you the insights to drive profitability, right? And understand where your hot areas are in the restaurant, where you need to focus. Because let's face it, there's so much complexity in restaurants today. You can't focus on at everything all the time. And so by using data to be able to help drive where your focus areas are going to, help restaurants be much more profitable.
Yeah, I think that that's a great way to look at it, because so often all of this data, as you talked about before, it's not about having data, it's about doing something with that data, right? If you can't do anything with it, you might as well not have it.
Yeah,
And yeah, and so it's so important that to not just have your systems interconnected, but to have a place where the data flows to make great decisions. Now, one of the things that you were talking about is being look for specialties,
mhm.
right? You no longer have to look for the jack of all trades, master of none, um, but look for the specifics in there. And so with that, it's about also not just having them all integrate in with a data, but it's about having them communicate with each other, right? About making sure that these systems are talking and friendly with each other. And so do you want to talk a little bit about that, about the importance of finding those solutions that are willing to integrate?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it starts with, the point of sale, and we talk about it. It's a critical part of the restaurant tech stack, but it also has to be able to move data in and out of it. And so if you want to understand where you need to be from a labor perspective, right? Integrating your labor schedule with your time and attendance, with your sales to really drive, understanding your labor costs, and your labor as a percentage of sales, or feeding sales information into your inventory system to make sure that you're looking at and have real-time visibility into food costs. And from a guest feedback perspective, right, you want to have that in as near real time. You don't have to wait 4 days for somebody to go take a survey to then
Right.
figure out that they want to go do it. Like, people want in the moment. And so being able to have information, have the systems talk to each other that way, so important. I think from a third party, everybody's struggling with this, right? And we talk about tablet hell, and having consolidation, having integration from your third party, channels into your POS just drives so much more efficiencies from an operational perspective. And so having everybody talk to each other and data kind of flowing through the different systems is critical, to have the most efficient operation, but also just not to cause so much stress for your staff in the restaurants because they're trying to do so much.
Yeah, exactly. Now, two of the other titles that we had for this book, because we talk about Table for 10, and we love that title because it's about these 10 different technologies coming together to the same table that maybe in a yesteryear would have been total competitors because we're all trying to do everything. But now that we're specializing, we could work together. We come together at this table for 10. So I love that concept and that title. But I do want to talk about two of the other titles that we had. One was technology transformation through beyond 2020, and the other was digital hospitality.
Mhm.
And I would love to get your concept on those. Those are the two runner-ups for the title for this ebook. But I think they both hold a lot of meaning, and we've talked about those quite a bit. You want to speak to those runner-up titles?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you talk about tech transformation, right? I think one of the things that we found coming out of, in COVID and still kind of defining what that new norm is, right? And so people talk a lot about new norm and perhaps a little bit overused because I don't think we've developed the new norm. I think it's continuing to change. And I think what we've, kind of through these conversations and what we're seeing in the industry is that the tech has to be flexible and move fast enough because the norm is changing every single day and there's no playbook for this and everybody's figuring it out. So I think that transformation is important, but I think it goes beyond that, right? And I think it's not just saying a transformation is not necessarily something that's concrete. It's a thought or an idea, or it's a journey. And so for us, it was really, as we started to go through the conversations, this idea of collaboration and integration and kind of this new mindset really kind of overpowered the thought of transformation. And I do believe that collaboration is a transformation that's happening within the industry, right?
Yeah.
So good runner up, but I think the table for 10 really sets the tone of, and there's not maybe just 10, these were 10 top companies that we talked to. There might be other systems within the restaurant that play into this kind of this wheel. But really got 10 really strong thought leaders to talk about, their perspectives on how the industry is changing.
Yeah. And I think that, as we talked about, hospitality, and this is something that I've mentioned many times before, but hospitality isn't dead. It's just gone digital.
Mhm.
And I think that's really important that we remember that the soul of what hospitality is, just because they're not in the four walls anymore, you can't touch them, feel them, hug them. The table touch is a very different experience. The whole ecosystem of hospitality is different, but it's now tech enabled, right? And I think we could all look at that as a great thing that's helping push the industry forward, and I think is going to help in the hospitality industry in the long run, even though right now it kind of hurts, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think, you talked about it, and I think Rev said it as well. Like, you have to do those table touches outside of the restaurant, right? That's the spirit, and that's what brings us, who love restaurants in this business every day, is serving others and bringing those experiences. And just because, again, you can't walk up to a table and get a reaction doesn't mean you shouldn't be doing that when they're not inside your four walls. And phenomenal conversation with Rev.
All right, Kelly. So any last piece of kind of summary, key takeaways from this whole experience in creating Table for 10?
Zach, it was an amazing experience, right? And again, the learnings that I got out of each session, and just some phenomenal conversations, and really inspired for where the industry is headed, and would recommend everybody downloading the ebook and listening to it. And I think the great part is that it's in chapters, so you don't have to consume it all at once. Some great advice and best practices from some of the top thought leaders in the industry today. So I'm very humbled and honored to be able to have the chance to sit down and have those conversations with them.
Well, Kelly, we were honored to be a part of it as well. In terms of this summary of the key takeaways: one, collaboration is key. Two, it's got to be actionable data. Three, look for people who specialize, not just one solution for everything. Four, digital hospitality is a journey that will be tech enabled to get to the new normal, or as Rev calls it, the new better. And then lastly, download the ebook. It's an incredible ebook. Kelly not only has an amazing introduction, conclusion, and maps out the different types of technology that you need for customers, in-store employees, online, and analytics, but then she also goes and interviews every single one of these executives in a great podcast format that you can watch, you can listen to, or just read the ebook. And so again, want to thank Kelly and the companies, which are Hire Me, 7 Shifts, Jolt, Savvy, Extra Chef, Your Fair, Lunchbox, Rev over at Branded Strategic Hospitality, Ovation, and Ingest. Thank you everyone for making this ebook possible. Thank you, Kelly, for putting this together and putting your 20 years of technology experience in the restaurant space into this one incredible ebook. Everyone, please go out, download it. It's absolutely free, and looking forward to getting your feedback on it. Thanks, Kelly.
Thanks, Zach. Really appreciate it.